Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hello, welcome to episode 134, Brain on Fire, the link between stress, inflammation, and mental health. Because, of course, there is a link. There is a reason why I talk about joy all the time, and you're joining to joy and trying to convince you to choose joy because joy is healthy. Mental health and physical health, it is healthy. What's the opposite of joy? Anger, stress, anxiety, depression, trauma, all those things, right? And it is physically unhealthy to your body. And so it's really important for you to be more intentional about choosing joy and about striving to have joy despite. And I know I say the opposite of joy is anxiety, depression, trauma, and all those things. A lot of times, while you have depression and while you have anxiety and while you're stressed and while you're going through trauma, you can also experience the joy, having the joy in the pain at the same time. And it's just like, how can I have both? Because it is literally a mindset. And I've spoken about the Enjoyno many times. It came out over a year and a half ago. If you haven't gotten your Enjoyno, get your Enjoyno. Nurturing Authentic Living. It is your journal to help you choose joy and enjoy life using the Inspire Joy method. I'm going to go through the Inspire Joy method again as we talk about this link between inflammation and stress and mental health with your joy. And it literally helps you be able to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health because all those aspects of our joy and of our life are very important. You can't neglect the other while you're working on another. You literally have to balance it all. So why not have the Enjoyno as your sidekick while you're doing it? And at the back of it is the Inspire Joy daily log. So you can think about all those 5 things, including resilience and empowerment. Because let's not forget that inspire has an R at the E and the end. So not forgetting those 5 crucial health areas and those 2 fundamentals of resilience and empowerment. So stop neglecting your joy. Come on, let's get that joy reset. So, have you ever experienced your brain literally feeling on fire? Like your brain is just like running hot, racing thoughts, irritability, exhaustion, and you just can't turn it off. I mean, that's what chronic stress feels like. Literally, your brain is on fire. And when you think about the link between mental health, mental illness, stress and inflammation, that's what inflammation is. Our brain on fire. There's different cytokines and different enzymes and cortisol levels and all those things are getting released and inflamed. That inflammation. If you think of inflammation as swelling in your body. I mean, the 4 signs of inflammation or the 4 signs of infection rather, but there's inflammation. When there's infection is pain, warmth, swelling, and redness, right? If you think of all those 4 things in as far as infection and inflammation, that is what's going on, and that is what your brain feels like when you're under chronic stress. So, but inflammation is not just like the swelling, right? I mean, your brain isn't becoming swollen when you're stressed out, but it literally feels like chemical smoke in your brain that's changing your mood, focus, and energy. Some people feel like they literally are running hot, like they see red when they get angry. And I haven't had that experience per se, like actually seeing red, but it can happen where you're just literally not thinking because your body is inflamed. Your brain is just like running hot and going crazy because you're so angry. And what's happening is that your sympathetic nervous system is on fire and you're kicking into that fight or flight and you are not thinking, which is why you are saying things you don't mean or doing things you don't mean or that you will eventually regret. So tonight, let's connect the dots between the stress, inflammation, and your joy. Because the more you allow, yeah, I said allow, the more you allow yourself to stay stressed I didn't say allow yourself to get stressed. We can't control whether we get stressed or not, but you can control whether you stay stressed. You can control whether you allow that thing that's stressing you out to keep you stressed out. There are things you can do to control it. I consistently think about what I need to do in my marriage to make sure my marriage stays great. And us Black women, we don't like to think about what we can do to change. It's always about what he can change. But I literally have been thinking more and more about that. And one of my New Year's resets is to not complain. Oh, men love it when their wives don't complain. They love it when their wives don't nag. And I've been more intentional, there's that word, about not complaining about anything actually, let alone what he may or may not do, and have been incorporating gratitude instead of complaining. And it's been very helpful. Hmm. So is it because of my complaining where arguments start? I don't know. It's not up to me how he reacts, but it is up to me where I could reduce or trigger that causes him to react, that causes an argument. So if I am feeling grateful about something he's done and less likely to complain about it and it limits an argument, why not? So I can be in control of chronic stress in that regard of a relationship or chronic parenting stress if I decide to be grateful instead of complaining about what the kids are doing. So as you can see, you can decide and you can be intentional about how you react to certain things around you just based on your mindset and how you change that. So the science of a stressed brain. Yes. How do you know your brain's stressed? You don't see these things. Nobody's checking the levels, but our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, HPA. Hypothalamic, our hypothalamus is in the brain, pituitary is in the brain, adrenals are somewhere around our kidneys. Hey, I'm a psychiatrist, but it's somewhere on top. I think, yeah, it's on top of the kidneys. But the HPA axis, you might hear about that. That is releasing cortisol when you get stressed out. Stress activates the HPA axis, which increases cortisol, and that increases that cytokine release. What's cytokines? Cytokines basically are the things that induce inflammation. I mean, the body needs the inflammation at certain points. I mean, like I said, when you have an infection, that red warmth, hotness, swellness, and pain, I mean, it's happening to protect that area, to close off germs from getting in and to close off different things that might be affecting the infected area, right? So you need cytokines to come in and do their thing, but an explosion of those things makes it worse, right? It's not supposed to stay there forever. So when you think about it from a mental health standpoint, that chronic stress happening is continuously activating that HPA axis, continuously elevating cortisol, continuously causing the cytokine release, and continuously causing inflammation that's now a cycle. The stress causes HPA axis, and now the HPA axis is chronically causing this cytokine release and chronic inflammation, and that's going to make you even more stressed out, more fatigue, more anxiety, more depression, and of course, you're gonna get some cognitive fog. So now all of a sudden you think you have ADHD because you're chronically stressed out and you can't concentrate, you're distracted, you're forgetful. No, it's probably not ADHD, which is why I am always working to rule out, are you anxious? Are you stressed? Are you depressed? Before I say, yeah, let me give you some Adderall. No, 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 no. Especially if you didn't have it all your life. There must be something going on from a mood standpoint first. We got to treat the mood disorder, then think about the attentional disorder. Mood disorders affect your attention. So going back, this continuous activation, this continuous stress, because you don't realize you are empowered and that you can change your mindset and you play a role in your joy is gonna continue to cause the anxiety, depression, and cognitive fog. There's so much going on in our brain. You've got the amygdala. The amygdala is mood, emotions, somewhere in the back of the brain and the end of the brain. And because of these brain areas being continuously activated, you are hyper alert, you're anxious, you're more stressed, you're more depressed. The prefrontal cortex, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, it's obvious to me, but the prefrontal cortex affects our decision making and our executive functioning. So that's obviously thrown off in ADHD, but it can be thrown off in chronic stress and anxiety and depression. So that is why there's that overlap of, do I have ADHD versus is it cognitive fog because I'm chronically stressed out and having this chronic inflammation of my brain, and my brain is on fire. So we got the prefrontal cortex in the front that's affected. If you've had a brain injury or a head injury and now all of a sudden you're more aggressive or more stressed out easily, it could have been because your prefrontal cortex is affected. So your brain and your amygdala in your brain, your prefrontal cortex is affected. And of course your hippocampus is affected. What is the hippocampus? That's the inner brain portion that affects your memory. So with this chronic inflammation that is happening from this chronic stress. Now you're hyper alert. Now you're anxious. You have the impaired decision making and your memory issues. So that is why it is important for you to realize you can intentionally control your reaction to stress. You can't control every single trigger that comes at you, but you have control in how you react. Yes, it takes work. You're thinking that you can't do it because it's hard. It takes work. I'm not saying it's easy. It takes a lot of work for me to intentionally think about, don't complain, be more grateful. After a while, you get more used to it. So just stay the course like any other change. So, of course, all this is that's why when you're stressed, you can't remember where your keys are. Your brain is busy fighting fires. You're literally trying to fight a fire. So, that cognitive fog is important. So, don't just straight up look at these reels and thinking you have ADHD all of a sudden. It's probably chronic stress leading to the chronic inflammation that's making everything worse because it's a full on cycle. So now, because this inflammation is happening and it's chronic, it feels like mood swings. It feels like trouble sleeping. It feels like low motivation, social withdrawal. So that's that depression right there. That's that irritability. And now, because you have the mood swings, maybe you're not thinking you have ADHD, but you're thinking you have bipolar because all of a sudden you're happy one second, then you're sad the second. You're happy one second, then you're angry the second. Now you think you have bipolar. No, you're just chronically stressed. Anybody who has stress, especially chronically, trauma, anxiety, depression are susceptible to mood swings. It doesn't mean you automatically have bipolar. So check into your stress and how your body is reacting. Anxiety, depression, even brain fog, post trauma, illness, that is important to understand that that is a reaction to stress or it is a reaction to the inability of being able to control your stress. And that's okay if not able to cope with it or control stress or trauma that comes at you. That is why mental health professionals exist. That is why therapy exists. Psychiatrists exist if you need a medication to deal with this. This is not a medication. This is a journal that's helping you with the therapeutic strategies and self-care of how to get through it. So maybe you don't need a medication. It's a matter of doing the therapeutic work to really get through all the different aspects of your 5 crucial health areas and igniting that empowerment and that resilience to be able to get beyond stress. And once you're able to do that, you can reduce those inflammation levels, those cytokine levels, and just experience pure joy, and then life is amazing for the rest of your life. No, life be life, and you're gonna be triggered eventually. But once you have that toolkit and you know how to combat it, it means that it's not gonna get at you. It may come, but it's not gonna stay. So how do we cool the fire? How do we cool the fire? With your Enjoyno, with your Inspire Joy method. Inspire, I talk about a lot, a lot, a lot, and I'm going to keep talking about it until it gets in your head, until you tell me that you are using your Inspire Joy to be able to combat this chronic stress that you're experiencing. So the I, integrity, calm your mind. Integrity is our mind, our ability to combat our mental health, to be able to combat trauma, to be able to use that gratitude, to be able to change our thoughts from negative to positive, our emotions from negative to positive. So what's one strategy? Name it to tame it. Name that emotion that you're experiencing. What are you experiencing? Well, I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm sad. I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry. Just name it. Name it to tame it. Once you have a name for it, you are able to figure out what works for you as far as how to tame it with your therapist or with your Enjoyno. Mindful breathing can help. And that's the thing about this Enjoyno is that it has therapeutic strategies and mindfulness strategies as to how to combat that certain thing. So, mindful breathing, journaling can reduce that amygdala activity that is ignited from chronic stress. Box breathing is very helpful. Breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds can be very helpful in being able to reduce that amygdala emotional, high emotional fire that you have in your brain and being able to transfer from the sympathetic fight or flight system to the parasympathetic rest and digest system, because a lot of us well, some people overeat when they're in that fight or flight, but for the most part, you're not digesting anything and you're not able to eat. So that's why the fight or flight is all about fleeing or fighting and not actually resting and digesting. So the rest and digest is the opposite. And with that note, if you are the person who overeats when you're anxious, you're not digesting it, and that's why you're more stressed and your body is more physically stressed because you're not even absorbing the food properly. You develop constipation, irritable bowel disease, and all kinds of things, right? So if you're chronically stressed, that food is not doing what it needs to do. So that is our mind part, our integrity part. The N is nurture, heal the body. And the way we heal our body is by prioritizing anti inflammatory habits. We already know that chronic stress increases and leads to chronic inflammation. So, what's an anti inflammatory habit? Getting your sleep, at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Omega-3 rich foods, omega-3 fatty acids, whether you take the gel or omega-3 rich foods such as fish, can really help you as far as getting your fish oil and being able to reduce that inflammation that you might have from chronic stress. Hydrate, move. I'm always talking about this. Drinking lots of water and moving and exercising. It takes work to make sure you get that habit in. Maybe it will never turn into a habit, but eventually, if you do things every day, you are used to it and it is a part of your daily routine, so you're gonna continue to do it. Even if it's just a 10-minute sunlight walk after waking, resets the cortisol rhythm. So we gotta get that cortisol down because when that raises, of course, it induces more stress, but it also makes you susceptible to infection and autoimmune disorders as well. Diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, so you don't want that. Our S and Inspire stability regulate your environment. Part of the regulating that environment is making sure you are looking at your finances because obviously financial stress just adds to all that chronic stress that you have going on. So as much as you can regulate it, obviously there are things that are what are not in your control. And I've talked about that where I've had my own financial struggles recently that were in my control, but it's also a matter of how you deal with it and how you cope with it that can help you maintain some level of sanity and joy and peace while you're dealing with it. But financial and schedule chaos, if you have a schedule chaos, you're not controlling that environment, or your financial chaos can trigger this stress chemistry that I'm talking about. So, if there is one thing that you can simplify as far as a responsibility that you have this week, at least delegate, delete, delay. So, if you're overwhelmed by your schedule, what can you delegate? What can you delete? And what can you delay because you just can't do it right now? So, what can you do from a stability standpoint? Your P, reignite meaning. Purpose. That's your aspirational health. When you are anticipating something great about to happen in your life, whether it's a vacation or a job opportunity or a child or whatever it is you're anticipating, it just releases the endorphins and the dopamine that makes you feel that joy. Purpose releases those feel good neurotransmitters, which is the brain's natural anti-inflammatory agent. I mean, come on. Having a purpose and feeling fulfilled in your life creates that natural joy. So, what's one value based action that you can do per day that you feel valued, you feel your life's mission is happening or about to happen, or it's just one little step towards that life mission? Do something each day that makes you feel aligned and not feel obligatory because a lot of us are working jobs, not even careers, but a lot of us are working jobs or actual careers that it just feels like an obligation to make money. They don't feel good about it. They don't feel valued. They don't feel appreciated. They don't feel respected. They don't feel like great about it. But what's something in your life, something small that you can do at least, a one value-based activity that you can do daily that can make you feel some type of joy? Think about it. The other I, connect. I, intimacy, social health. Connect in order to heal. Healthy relationships can lower cortisol levels, that stress hormone. It also can lower CRP as well. CRP is like this inflammatory agent that increases in inflammation as well as infection. And when you have intimacy and connection to heal, it can lower those levels. One tip for that, for intimacy, is to hug someone for 20 seconds, whether it's a child, a parent, a friend. That social connectedness releases that oxytocin. That's a natural agent that literally dampens the stress response. Oxytocin is what's released in intimacy in general, as well as when you're having a baby, but it's that social agent. So having healthy relationships is super, super important when it comes to lowering cortisol levels and lowering that chronic stress response. The R in inspire, resilience, recover faster, bounce back. Life is gonna life. It always gonna life. Life be life. And just know that challenges are there as a lesson to make you stronger and that it's gonna happen. So why get shocked every time it happens? Why let it get to you every single time? Why? It's not healthy. If you want to add years to your life, recognize that you can move on, recover faster. You have control. I might be talking about some nonsense to you. You're like, what do you mean? How you going to tell me to recover fast? Well, you can do it. Do the work. You're not doing the work. Build stress recovery rituals. What is your stress recovery ritual? Is it music? Is it stretching? Is it prayer? Is it running? Is it journaling? Is it dancing? Is it talking to a friend? Is it meditation? Is it breathing? Is it progressive muscle relaxation? Is it prayer? What is it? Schedule a calm after the chaos routine, a 10-minute buffer after hard days. Some of y'all need more than that. 10 minutes can go a long way, but maybe you need a day, but maybe you don't have a day. So that's why I say 10-minute buffer after the hard days so you can be able to bounce back. Maybe it's a hard multiple days, but having that buffer is important. Scheduling in the joy moments, the joy check ins, scheduling it, do it for you. Lastly, the E in inspire, empowerment. Protect your energy, be empowered, inflict those boundaries, say no when you need to. Watch the no episode. I just did it last week with Dr. Jen Fry. No is a full sentence. Choose inputs that cool your mental temperature. If your brain is running hot and you have those racing thoughts and you're consistently stressed out, what will cool that temperature for you? Is it saying no? Is it having the boundaries? And of course, all of these letters of the Inspire, there's a chapter in the Enjoinal for each one. So there's literally details and therapeutic worksheets to help you get through each of those. So I have evidence behind what I'm talking about here. Get your Enjoinal, and that will help you be able to know exactly what to do and to cater it towards you. And you can go through it as slow as you want or as fast as you want. A tip for this empowerment protecting your energy: digital detox, limit media, replace doom scrolling with gratitude scrolling. Have a list of what you're grateful of because sometimes you forget, especially when you have that cognitive fog and your brain is on fire and all that inflammation, that chronic stress is getting to you. You're not remembering what's great in your life and what to be grateful of. If anything, it makes it harder to even think of it. So having that written down and being able to gratitude scroll instead of a doom scroll into your journal is very helpful. So why joy? Why joy? Why joy? Why joy? Because the other way around is unhealthy. You can have joy and pain, joy and stress, joy and trauma. You just got to do the work. When do you need to seek help? If your sadness is persistent, your irritability is persistent, You have sleep and appetite changes. You're sleeping all the time. You're not sleeping at all. You're eating too much. You're binge eating, gaining weight. You're not eating enough. You have weight loss, loss of interest, no motivation, not able to go to work. You're turning to drinking or alcohol, drinking and alcohol, drugs and things like that. That's when you seek a professional, a therapist, psychiatrist, holistic wellness support, whatever it is. If the fire feels too big to manage alone, that's your cue to call for backup. That's what we're here for. It's what I'm here for. Enjoy Life, DrEnjoyLife.com. I see patients for medication management and therapy. So it's holistic. It's all of the above, not just medication is what I do. So reignite that joy, not the fire, not the burnout. Reignite what you once had. And if you never had it, you still can't experience it. It takes work. If anything, reframe your mind. Your brain isn't broken, it's inflamed. So let's get rid of this fire that's in our brain. The inflammation is treatable. You can cool the fire one breath, one boundary, one act of nurture at a time. So right now, just say, I calm my mind, I cool my body, I create space for joy. I calm my mind, I cool my body, I create space for joy. Where I do feel inflammation in my mind, body, or schedule, where is it? Check in with the enjoyno to figure that out, to figure out what's one cooling habit that you can do to start this week. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. Do comment. Let me know. Follow, like, subscribe, and share. We got to get this joy going. Make joy go viral. All right. See you next time. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.DrEnjoyLife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 12 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspire Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.